Hey everyone, my name is Danilo Petrovic.
I'm Ilya Marchenko.
I'm Denis Kudla.
I'm Evgeny Donskoy.
I'm Henry Laaksonen.
I'm Peter Torebko, and you're listening to the Game to Love podcast.
Welcome back, tennis fans. It is our draw reaction for Indian Wells, the BNP Paribas Open, as it's also known. It's the women's that are underway first, it looks like. And, well, I've only just seen the draw myself. I know it went on quite late last night. I think we were probably asleep, mate, getting some shut-eye ready for the crazy week that's probably going to be ahead of us with these crazy times in Indian Wells.
Well, 2 weeks. It's going to be a long tournament. Yeah. We're going to try and cover as much of it as possible. Being in California, it's going to be pretty difficult to cover. I think there's an 8-hour difference. So instantly off the bat, it's tough. I think the final's scheduled for, you got the women's final on the Saturday for us, the men's on the Sunday, and they both kick off about midnight. So it's not the worst in the world. We're going to obviously do our best to cover as much as possible. We may even have to do some early morning ones because it's that crazy, the time difference, that for a night one there, it's at morning for us. So we'll see what we can do. But we are here today to talk about the draw reaction. We've got loads to get into, to be honest. So maybe we'll just start off. But one thing we need to start with is we are now moving to a new bracket website altogether. The guys over at TNNS, Tennis, the app, obviously you see we've got the scoreboard from them as well. We now will be using the bracket directly through them. So no longer the tennis draw challenge. We will not be using that for the foreseeable. We'll be moving on to the next one, and we're going to be doing a big giveaway for the first event. So all you need to do is hit the link, download the app, join the Game to Love League, set your username, and you can be in for a chance to win $100. That's for the men's and the women's events. Obviously, me and Ben will be entering as well. We'll be fighting for the $100. But you've got a good chance of beating us, put it that way, because we rarely finish near the top. I know I have done recently, but let's see. I'm sure you guys know a little bit more than us. So good luck in that. Make sure to enter. Unless anything you want to say about it, Ben?
No, it's just super exciting. I'm sure there's going to be a little crossover. Some people will probably still be playing the other one as well. I'm sure it's fine to play both. It is free to enter. So just remember that. You don't have to spend any money whatsoever. Just download it. Just enter it. Set a username and compete against myself and JG. And also for the chance to win a nice bit of cash as well. How good's that? Well, we don't get to say that very often on GTL.
No, very rare. And we've got Jordan here, one of our patrons. How we doing? Saying,
how you doing?
Going to scoop up the $200. He's not going for one. He's going for both. So I wish you luck in that. Shout out to another patron. We've got Kathy. Good morning to you. And Jean as well. How we doing, Jean?
Yeah, look at them. They're all in today. Great to have you all on board, guys, for this reaction to probably the biggest tournament of the back end of the year, really. I mean, a lot of people label it as the 5th Grand Slam. So, and looking down the draw, it looks like a Grand Slam, doesn't it? I mean, it is the who's who. There's not many people on this women's side that aren't there. So it's going to be an exciting one. I know the men's, we're missing a couple of big names. Still think it's going to be exciting, though, on both of these draws. I'm excited, mate.
Yeah, we will be going through doing our picks later on. I think we're going to have to do it this evening because we're going to have to be going into the office tomorrow. So we'll do that later on using the new layout. And then we'll have the men's the following day. So we'll do the draw reaction like this during the lunchtime the next day and vice. We're just trying to work it out and try and get as much content to you guys as possible. But with regards to this one, let's get started. We've seen the draw. I've not had a good look at it myself. But we can see here, this is the start of it. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be breaking it into the 4 quarters. So we've got the top half of the draw and the bottom half. This screenshot is all the top half of the draw. And the number 1 seed for this event is going to be Karolina Pliskova. For me, that's a massive shock that she is flying through the rankings. But congratulations to her. She's had a great year. She's now qualified for the race in Mexico. So she's already in there, which is great. And she's going to be the number 1 seed going into this Masters event. And looking at her draw there, could she do some damage, Ben?
I think it's not the worst draw in the world looking at it. And I know that I don't have the whole of that top bracket in there. Shall I try and squeeze it all in if we
That's
can?
okay. We'll maybe just scroll down in a minute.
Okay.
So let's just look at the...
scroll down. All right, apologies. Oh, sorry. Wait. Anyway.
Wait, can you zoom in a little bit? Because I can't see that.
All right, okay. JG's. That's as much as it'll go.
Okay, that's good. So here we go. Some names instantly was jumping out. And Anik Kontaveit, she's in great form. I'm looking at that matchup in that top little section. I can't see how Pliskova and Kontaveit don't face each other unless Podoroska does something special. I think a lot of the others are beatable. We do know there's some qualifiers there, so they could do something. And then Andreescu at the bottom, obviously the reigning champion. You can't really dismiss her easily. The thing is, she's not in great form. And if I'm honest, the two names that stand out are Kontaveit and Pliskova. I think they'll be battling it out to sort of head that section. But can Andreescu do something? She's obviously defending all the points. She's won here 2 years ago. She looks at it as one of her favourite events. I've seen her posting a lot on Twitter and social media networks talking about how much she's excited for it. There's a few people saying, welcome to paradise. It's known as paradise there in Indian Wells. And listen, she's going to be pumped for it. She's definitely motivated. I'm just not sure if she can play at the level of, say, a Kontaveit or Pliskova. But that's just my take on it.
Yeah, I mean, she did well in Miami, didn't she? She got to the final there. We can't forget about that, losing to only Barty just due to injury in the final. So she's proved this year she's still got some fight in her. But since that Miami Open, she hasn't looked good at all. And she's been losing. It's been very littered with like 3 losses in a row, 2 losses in a row. She's currently on a two-match losing streak. She's looking to put that to an end, I'm sure, in this one. But she's going to have a work cut out for her. Like you said, Kontaveit she's one of the players that I love to watch on tour. I love seeing her grow. Her and Rybakina, they're like 2 players that are really, really on the radar all the time. And Jabur's in there as well in this sort of bigger section. We know how well she's been playing, mate. One of your faves.
Yeah, there's no doubts about it. I'll have her going down through a little bit. If you want to just go down, we can actually do it. So we've got Danielle Collins, someone who's brilliant on the hard court, especially in America. She's going to be dangerous. And sort of making up this section, this is where it gets a little tougher for me. Sakari. It seems like Ons Jabeur and Sakari can't separate from each other. I think it could be a real head-to-head between them. But if you look at some of the players who aren't necessarily seeded, this is always a good indication of how tough any draw is for me. And you've got Vondrasova in there. You've got Golovic as well, who could cause some damage. Lauren Davis. You've got Padis Diaz. There's some players in here who worry me slightly. Even Sevastova. So it's not going to be no foregone conclusion that we see Ons Jabeur Sakari, because there could be a handful of names here who do progress. But you know me, I'm going to be cheering on Ons Jabeur. And listen, it could have been a lot worse for her. It's still tough, but I fancy Ons Jabeur to do something. But I'm not going to give it away too much. You have to wait for my bracket to find out who I pick. Sakari, you'd have to argue, has probably had the better season out of the two of them.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially in the slams.
I would totally agree with that. The thing is with this whole section, really, if you look up and down it, you've got sort of a mixture, really. You've got a mixture of players who are sort of either coming into form or dropping off of form, but we know that their top form is amazing. And it makes it so hard to pick, because if Cerebus Tormo comes back to amazing form again, she can probably beat anybody there. And same with Andreescu. And Podoroska, on her day, she's pretty decent as well. So for me, this is going to be a super difficult one to pick. And if Vondrasova, she obviously pulled out of that last tournament with this one in mind. She was, wasn't she Olympic finalist as well? So she'll be looking to try and get all the way through this tournament. I think if she gets past Golubic, and that's not an easy first round match, she'd probably fancy herself against Sakari as well.
Yeah, so looking at it for Pliskova, it's going to be tough for her to get out. The number 1 seed doesn't have it that simple.
No,
maybe early rounds she could be okay, but I think so. She could really struggle, especially when she gets to the other half of this top quarter. Yeah, sort of the Ons Jabeur, Sakari, and who's the other one? Danielle Collins, Cerebus Tormo as well.
Section,
this section here could be tough, but let's move on to the next bit, because I know we've got loads to get through.
Okay,
So the next section's going to be
Barbara Krajcikova. There she is. She is number 3 seed in this one. She will be playing. Quite a nice draw for her by the looks of it. She's going to be playing the winner of Hibina or a qualifier. Well,
I don't think so. You don't get any nice draws in the Masters.
Nah, you don't.
I know what you're trying to say.
For the first couple of rounds, I think she'll probably
is it
like
though? Because Camilla Giorgi can be class. I know she lost recently to someone who wasn't very good. It was a bit of a shock in straight sets. Aside from that, she's pretty dangerous. You know how much I love Paula Badoza. She's going to be raring to go here. Coco Gauff. She's been a bit disappointing of late. Not done so well in these tournaments. Could she really thrive here? We know she likes the sunshine. She does quite well in Miami.
Definitely.
So let's see what she can do on this one. We've got Angelique Kerber, one of your favourite players.
Yeah, she's back again. And she's she just had a great year. I think everybody thought Kerber was gone for good. And then she's proved everybody wrong this year. And now she finds herself, she's 15th in the rankings now. And, well, she's number 10 seed here. And I don't think, I think Kim Clijsters has been screwed over a little bit here. Siniakova could have been a slightly easier first round draw there. Siniakova's been really good of late. I fancy Siniakova there, if I'm honest, not to show my hand too early.
Listen, I think Siniakova does win that one as well. And I like this comment in the chat from Pac Man Got the Munches saying Gauff could possibly catch pundit sleeping, may go deep in this tournament. I'm looking at that draw now. No one's talking about Coco Gauff. I wouldn't be surprised if she's able to get all the way and win this little section here. I know there's some good players there, but Krajcikova towards the back end of the year, could she fall off a little bit? She had such a phenomenal season. She's been playing doubles and singles in Grand Slams and usually going very deep in both. Surely her body must be a bit tired. And not just that, we know we saw some injury concerns with her at the US Open, and she did look a bit out of colour, out of sort. She wasn't the same player we used to against Sabalenka. I know it was a very poor quality match. Is she going to be able to sort of find her form and start playing that better brand of tennis, which she was at the start of the year? I'm not so sure. I think she could be now. Already got the flip-flops on. One foot on the beach.
A bit. A lot of tennis. You've seen it's happened to Novak as well on the men's side. You get deep in that many big tournaments and it sort of takes a toll, and she's doing the doubles as well. So it can only, and if you've got a little niggle, hopefully she's managed to shake that one off. I just want to see her continue to progress and start getting some recognition that she really deserves. I don't think people are really, the press aren't really that bothered about. I don't really seem to make a fuss of her, and I think it's not really fair. If somebody's won a Grand Slam, everybody should be treated equally. I mean, we know that they're not.
Yeah, but a lot of that is on her to make herself someone who's a little bit more marketable.
But it's a little bit this thing again, though. I mean, I know that I don't want to sound like I'm what do they say, like beating a dead horse or something. I don't know. I just feel like when there's these people from Eastern Europe do well, there's a lot of people don't seem to like. Djokovic gets a lot of stick. There's a lot of fans, but there's a little bit of less enthusiasm when those players are doing well, and I don't like it. And I think there should be more even keel when it comes to support of players, just due to their how well they play on the court. Just give them their due, their merit. Obviously, you've got to have personality as well, but give her a chance. She seems very sweet and nice.
Well, we like her on the podcast. We've got a cool button for us, so we're doing our part, definitely.
Yeah, Kay here. Sorry to interrupt. Saying, the press don't care about Iga either. This is like another person that the last two French Open champions have both been from that neck of the woods, and I don't know. It's a bit disrespectful, to be honest.
Well, anyway, I love Iga, so definitely not me. I'm a massive fan of Iga specifically. Not so much Barbara. I know you kind of like her a little bit more than me. But just with this, I know in the US Open, I made some big claims about Alcaraz, and they made me look like an absolute genius, if I'm honest. So I'm going to make one now. So maybe we can clip this if it goes well. But Coco Gauff in this section does very well. This could be her tournament.
Could well, but it's in America, so you got to remember that home court advantage always
You're
does
getting
help.
worried now, aren't you, that I'm making these big calls?
And not really, because I think Coco's been a bit patchy with her form. She has lost to good players. She lost to Osaka in Cincinnati. She lost to Georgie on that great run in Montreal. And she obviously lost to Sloane Stephens at the US Open. So all high caliber opposition. She can definitely do it. I just worry for her. Like, she's still growing as a player. So I don't want to get too carried away with Coco Gauff just yet.
Let's move down a little bit because there's more in this section for Krejcikova, I believe.
Yeah.
So we've got some really good players at the bottom as well. So now we've got who was I going to say? Kasatkina. I think she could do something here. You look at some of the unseeded players in Tomjanovic, Anna Cunha. Usually always the wild card in all these events and having to go through the qualification. She didn't have to this time. She could do something. And of course, a recent champion, Garbina Muguruza. She's off the back of winning Chicago, right? Chicago 2.
Correct. Chicago 2. That is right. Beating on
a 9th title.
Amazing. And what great form to be coming into this tournament with. But you got to remember, once you've just won a tournament and played a whole week of tennis, are you going to be as fit as some of the other people who are coming into this tournament? So take that into consideration when you're looking into the draw preview brackets when you do complete them, because some people can get a bit fooled and think these players can just seem to play forever. And
sometimes a good bit of good form does help, though, because you're looking at, say, Muguruza, then Krejcikova, the top of that section. And you'd have to, I think a lot of people are going to be going for the more informed girl in Muguruza, surely.
Well,
and listen, about 6 months ago, I think a lot of people would sort of waver with Krejcikova. She looked unplayable. Nobody could even take a set off her or beat her. But right now, it's a bit different for me. Muguruza, what we've just seen from her, she's serving well, looking dangerous. I think she is the player to watch in this whole quarter.
Well, what I would love to see, and I'm sure you are of the same note, is Krejcikova Muguruza 2, because we had the US Open.
They don't seem to like each other too much. There was some drama there.
I don't think it's like each other. I think Muguruza just doesn't like her, and I just have to hope that was just down to that one incident.
No, it's because Krejcikova was taking too long, wasn't she?
I don't think it was
delaying tactics.
I don't think it was delaying tactics. She was just off court for a medical time. They had to take her off court for a medical time.
She was going for the towel. She was doing all of that, taking her time. And Muguruza was getting ready to serve, and she just wouldn't let her serve on her own accord. There was a bit of arguments there, a bit of beef. Let's see whether Muguruza can get revenge. She's going to be going into hot form, and we don't even know if they could face each other because they could both go out early doors.
Oh, yeah, true.
I think this sort of summarizes the first half, the top half of the draw. Yeah. And if I'm looking at it as a whole, the main name what stands out to me is Garbina Muguruza and, of course, Coco Gauff. For me, they're the two names just in my mind. Anyone for you?
Well, it depends what form they're in. I actually quite like Annette Kontaveit, to be honest. Okay. I don't know why. That one, I sound like I'm always picking similar names. But Danielle Collins could be another one as well. She's been in some really good form of late. If she gets a little run going here, it's not the worst section, I don't think. But maybe that's just me encouraging Maria Sakkari to do well again by not picking her.
Wait, am I allowed 3? Because I've got to have Ons Jabeur in there as well.
Yeah, mate, go on, have her as well. Go on, I'll let you have her. I thought you were going to pick the Plisk.
And just the last thing on this section, we do have Katrina Scott in here. You can see her there, the wild card.
Up the top,
just go down slightly. No,
apologies. There she is.
She's going to be having Anisimova first round. I'm really hoping she can win that one.
Yeah, I think it's a doable one, but
it's close. I think it could be about a 50-50 match.
Yeah, I mean, Anisimova, when she turns up, she can beat some really good players.
Yeah,
so
agreed.
But she doesn't always turn up. That's 50% of the time she turns up. Anyway, move on to the bottom half of the draw, and this one is the top of the bottom half. Oh, sorry, I'm just going to try and. Oh, is it going to go too big? No, it's fine. Right, Petra Kvitova is at the top.
Who's the seeded player in this one? I think it's the fourth seed. Is it Svitolina?
Yes, Svitolina we've got, and we've also got Iga Swiatek is right at the bottom of the draw.
Okay, so this is the Svitolina quarter. because it's the other side. I think it's from bottom to top, but we can do it this way around. It doesn't matter. It's all the same.
We'll do it from this way around.
And let's start with the main girl. She's going to be a wild card, the 17th seed into the tournament. She gets a bye through to the first round.
Come on.
It's Emma Raducanu. She gets the bye, and she'll be facing either Sasnovich or Serrano.
I like it.
After that, I'm going to just go through some of her route. She could potentially be playing Simona Halep, you would think.
I love it. She's got all that
after
talent.
that, well, I don't want to get too carried away here. We could be looking at an Azarenka or a Kvitova. So that's just the initial. That's just some of the initial players she could be pitted up against here. She's not been handed many favors after winning the US Open. She's gonna maybe have to beat Halep, Kvitova, or Azarenka. Some serious sort of Grand Slam champions.
Yeah,
they put them all together, all the Grand Slam champs. It seems.
Yeah, I mean, she's got experience upon experience in her section, hasn't she? And that's the one thing she's going to have to try and fight experience with youthful exuberance and just pure passion of being a youngster on the court. And if she can take that same US Open style performance and just try and blitz people, if I'm hoping that's the same mentality we're going to see. But well, we'll find out in the second round who's she going to face.
You've also got Kostyuk in there as well as an unseeded player. It is a tricky quarter. I'm interested to see how far you have Raducanu going through. We will be doing the bracket with all our picks on the new bracket website later on today. So make sure to download the app and be in a chance to win $100 for the men's and women's. You can't miss it. But with this right now, I don't think I'm going to give too much away with what I'm going to do because I want to shock you on the later podcast.
Well, I'm hoping you're going to stick with what you've said. So if you don't stick with it, then we're just going to be thinking you're a bit of a liar. So
I can do what I want.
I could do what I want, JG.
Well, what do you mean? So you're saying I need to pick Raducanu to go out early? You
made a statement. Oh, well, should we clip it?
I said,
we don't clip the ones that we only clip it.
Listen, I said there's a possibility she could go out first round. That's impossible because you've got to buy through the first round for a start.
No, you said that she'll lose her first match.
It's not valid.
Back. You said you'd
okay. She could lose her first match back. But listen, just wait for the bracket, Ben.
No, I'm waiting. Wait till tonight.
Moving down, we've got some more good players here. We've got Elise Mertens. If it wasn't tough enough for Raducanu, she's got some other names to sort of beat here. If she's able to advance from the top bit, the section of death. And we have Jessica Pegula, the 19th seed. We've got Cirstea. And then, of course, at the bottom of this little section, Svitolina. You look at some of the unseeded players. You've got Heather Watson, Anne Lee, Sloane Stephens. It's not as bad as the top bit, if I'm being honest. Initially, this little section. Listen, if Raducanu gets out the top bit, I'd fancy her to beat all of these.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty mad, isn't it? Like she's got the group of death.
And she's just beaten Svitolina, right? Was it her beat? Oh, no, that was Fernandez.
Fernandez. Yeah. And we'll get onto her in a second. Don't you worry. I'm sure you can't wait. Pegula's tough in America. Sloane Stephens, I expect her to beat Heather Watson. Sorry, Heather, but I think Sloane in America, she looks good.
Not very nice.
I think that at least this section is a bit mean, isn't it? I mean, we're going to be having potentially, look at that, Sloane, Pegula, Mertens, and Svitolina. I think not as stacked, but still some good names could come out of that.
Well, we're always going to see good names. It's a Masters event, but I'm looking at this as, say, from Svitolina's point of view, and I think she'll be quite pleased. She has a good shot. She's been playing well. She won Chicago the first event. I know Muguruza won the second one, and she's going to be coming into this in really good form.
She looked great.
I fancy her to take this little section. We could be seeing Svitolina Raducanu maybe then. We've seen Fernandez Svitolina. Let's see how Raducanu gets on.
Well, that's it. Yeah, I mean, that would be very exciting.
Touch wood. Sorry to jinx it, guys.
Well, I'm hoping. Let's not. I don't know. There's part of me that hates putting players you like through because you feel like we have the GTL curse and it is a thing. And I feel that whenever we big players up, they tend to drop. So I'm going to try not to get too Camaro. I'll just have Raducanu go out first round, hoping that she goes through and wins.
She can't go out first round.
No, that goes out first match. I don't know. What did I have in the US? I had her going out third round, didn't I? So maybe I'll do the same again and hope for the best. But
and here we go. We've got Belinda Bencic here. This section is going to be the number 2 seed, so Iga Swiatek, and she's got it tough for me. I'm looking at some of the names. The unseeded ones in Shelby Rogers. That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Kai Kanepi, Elise Cornet, Madison Keys, Putin Saver, even Petkovic and Brengel. It's just a bit of a tricky one. I'm not sure if I like it. And this is where we could see some shocks.
I like
there could be a handful of names who advance, but the name which my eyes draw to instantly is Leylah Fernandez. She is back. One of my favorite players on the women's tour right now. 23rd seed, should I say, for this event. What can Leylah do? Can she get revenge on Raducanu? She's going to be in the same half of the draw as her. So if they are to face each other again, it will be a semi-final matchup.
Indeed.
And we're definitely jumping the gun a bit. But Leylah Fernandez, I'm looking here. Her initial draw is...
Yes, it will be. She'll be up. She's got a bye, which is nice. Both the US Open finalists with a bye through the first round. Then she'll play potentially Elise Cornet, then potentially Pavlyuchenkova, and then maybe Belinda Bencic or Shelby Rogers, maybe.
Mate, it's happening.
It's not bad.
She's doing it. She's doing it. Leylah Fernandez, come on, let's go. I'm loving it already. I like the look of it for her. I think it is super tough though.
I think Pavlyuchenkova is a tough one, to be honest. I think that one could be a potential banana skin.
No, do you know what bothers me more than Pavlyuchenkova? Cornet.
Really?
Yeah, I know it's going to shock you. I think Cornet is just one of them players who she can beat some big guns, and I'm worried about that with Leylah. So let's see how it goes. If we move down a little bit, we've got Rybakina in there if it wasn't tough enough. You've got Ostapenko, Kudermetova, not in the greatest of form right now. And obviously at the bottom, Iga Swiatek. We know she's brilliant on the clay courts. How is she going to cope on the hard courts? Not posted the greatest of results, but we know she can still play on it. And she's an awesome talent. So I'm looking at this from an Iga fan's perspective. And I don't think it's too bad either. If I'm honest, I think the real test will be Rybakina.
And you've got to remember in this tournament, we're missing the world number 1 and the world number 2 in Ash Barty and Sabalenka. So this is a good opportunity
Osaka
too. But she's not. I think she's outside the top 10 now, Osaka.
Is she?
But I believe so. I think she dropped down.
Really?
Yeah, 12th in the world now.
That's shocking. I didn't know that.
Yep. So she's out of the top. Iga's up to number 4. It's going to be interesting though, because Ash Barty, obviously, you fancy her to go deep in this tournament, and Sabalenka, but neither of them are in there. And we've got Swiatek. She might fancy her chances now of maybe progressing a little bit. She obviously lost to Sakari in Ostrava, but she did beat Rybakina, and that could be another potential matchup here in what's that, the 4th round there. So that could be an interesting matchup again. She beat her in straight sets as well. So
yeah, I think we've got Kay there saying the same thing. She beat Rybakina 2 weeks ago. So it's important to take that into consideration. Listen, I like this for Iga. I really do. Yeah. I would say this is a little bit easier than, say, the first seed. Swiatek's got it maybe slightly better than Pliskova.
Yes, I'd say so. I'd say this is a slightly better set. Just if she hadn't already just played and beaten Rybakina, I probably wouldn't say it was. But the fact that she has recently, I think that it makes it look slightly more favourable for her. That's all.
Okay. And if you just want to go up a little bit, we can see Bencic, because she's going to be in the section, I believe, with Raducanu. And we've got Matthew here making a good point, saying she twisted her knee in Chicago. So we're not sure.
In the Fernandez section, that one.
Oh, Fernandez, but it's still the same half, isn't it? As Raducanu.
Yeah, it's still the same half.
Sorry, I meant Fernandez. Yeah, it could really benefit Leylah Fernandez if she's able to advance that little section, and she's playing a Bencic who's not really at the races, slightly injured. She may not even progress. She could see Shelby Rogers beat her if she's injured quite easily. It's only going to help Leylah Fernandez. Although, something I would want to note with Fernandez, I think she actually does better when she plays better players. We saw at the US Open, she couldn't have been any tougher, her draws. She had Kerber, Osaka, Svitolina. They was all thrown at her all at once. And she managed to find a way to beat them in 3 sets every time. Yeah. If she's playing against some weaker opposition, no offense to some of these girls, could her level drop a little bit? Will she struggle to get up for it so well? could she just be a player who plays well against the very best, but struggles against the others? She can't get up for it. She struggles to find her game. The players aren't hitting the ball so hard back, and she's not getting enough off of it. Maybe that is her style, and she's going to struggle with that. This is going to be the big test for Layla, and this is what I'm looking at. I want to see how she deals with some of the other ranked players, and not necessarily some of the world's best. Because before this tournament, let's be honest, she had the ability to lose to anyone, I felt. I didn't think she was that consistent at all. And I'm not sure if it's just all because she's just matured now and she's all of a sudden playing great tennis. Let's see. This is going to be the moment of truth for her, I think.
Yeah, well, this is it. It's the moment of truth for her, the moment of truth for Raducanu as well. I wouldn't base everything upon this tournament, but we're going to see if the other players have done their homework, let's say, on them after watching so much of them play at the US Open. So I think the styles of play that they both have, if Raducanu and Fernandez play the same way they did at the US Open, I don't see people beating them. That's my honest opinion.
So, listen, let's move on to the big question then, Ben. But before you do, let's go to the chat because we've got John Silky in the chat. How are we doing, Silky boy? And he's saying that Osaka news is a surprise. Yeah, it shocked me as well. I didn't know that, Ben.
Yeah, I know. I heard it the other day, and that's why I checked it just after I said it. I should have checked it first, shouldn't I? But yeah, it was. So I heard outside the top 10. I wasn't sure what ranking, but yeah, 12th. She dropped 5 places in the last few weeks. So a bit of a shock that. Obviously, somebody said in the live chats, yeah, she's obviously a Grand Slam winner at the beginning of the year, and then to be dropping outside the top 10 is a bit of a shock.
Yeah, I can't remember that happening very often, but
no.
So she's not done well enough this year. Not played enough events, and the ones she has done has been a little bit disappointing. Aside from the Australian win,
Sophia Kennan's above her, so that's what I mean. Like someone like Kennan, we probably haven't really spoken about much this year. But she's number 8.
Yeah, I think it's a bit broken. I wouldn't look too much at the rankings at the moment. They definitely seem a bit strange. But what I was going to say, so the big talking point here, everyone's sort of hyped to see Raducanu return. There's a lot of people hyped about Fernandez as well, what they've done on the women's tour. And what I want to pose to you, Ben, could we see them playing a semi-final? I don't want to give too much away, but looking at this draw here, especially this half, because they're both on this half of the draw, do you think what's your feelings on potentially seeing them in a semi-final matchup? Before you answer it, someone in the chat has said, we've got Kay saying people will be prepared for them because they know now how they play. They've got a body of work to sort of base what they play on, and they could be better prepared and well equipped to find a way to beat them.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that this isn't going to be as straightforward as I'm not going to say Fernandez's route to the final was straightforward because it wasn't, but Raducanu's looked straightforward. But they both could come a cropper. I think we haven't even really seen Raducanu tested. That's the weirdest thing.
Just to clarify, you mean Raducanu's route at the US Open was straightforward?
No, yeah, it seemed straightforward, didn't it? Yeah, but Fernandez, we saw her face adversity. We haven't seen Raducanu face the adversity.
Well, listen, it seems the opposite here. I know Fernandez has got a tough draw, but she's definitely got an easier one than Raducanu. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
So if you compare them here, it's like they've got a role reversal. Yeah. This could be, a little bit, especially if, say, in this section for Fernandez, all of these top seeds start losing early. Petkovic beats Putintseva, then beats Rybakina. You've got Bencic injured. She goes out. Kalinina beats Rogers, and Kalinina's through. No offense to these players, but it could. I don't know. Imagine if that was to happen here. I'm not sure if it's going to happen at the top because they just seem too experienced, them guys, to be losing early. And this is why I think it's going to be really tough for Raducanu. And if I'm looking at the two of them, I would say Layla Fernandez has a better chance to go deep in this tournament than Raducanu.
Well, looking at the routes, it definitely, you are correct. Like based upon the things we have in front of us, I think something quite interesting I'd like to point out to you as well. Obviously, coming into the event, Emma Raducanu was ranked, I believe, 22nd in the world. She hasn't even hit a tennis ball yet. She's already up to number 20. So Coco Gauff has dropped, so her points have dropped off already. So she's overtaken Coco Gauff in the rankings now. If she was to beat Simona Halep, she would overtake Simona Halep in the. So this is where we're going to start getting a little bit interesting, because if she was to start winning some matches, she's going to start overtaking more and more people. And even Layla's only dropped 36 points. She's still in 27th. Could be the same for her. She beats a couple, she could overtake maybe Badoza, Mukova, maybe even Pegula if she gets far enough in the tournament. If she was to win the tournament, she could push herself into the, I think, might just overtake Ons Jabeur in 12.
And not just that, another thing to talk about is the race, the WTA race. Of course,
Yes,
Raducanu is a little bit higher up than Fernandez, I believe. And she, if she's able to do something special and say win it, I don't know if she qualifies from then, but she's definitely going to be. She's going to be in for a big shot, and she puts her name in the hat to qualify.
She'll go to 5th. Yeah, she'll go to 5th in the race if she was to win it. Obviously, that doesn't include if the other players above her got points as well, but you'd think she'd probably overtake.
She puts her name in the hat big time. Same with Fernandez as well. So there's a lot of interesting debates and topics to sort of come from this Indian Wells. I can't wait for it. We've got the men's one we'll be doing later on. I think we're going to be there. They'll be doing the draw this evening. Maybe we'll do an instant draw reaction late on tonight. So make sure to join us for that one. And then we'll be doing the bracket, the official bracket for the women's later on too. We may need to squeeze it in today because we are at work tomorrow in the office, and it's going to be difficult to do it from the office. So we prefer to have this set up. But for now, I think we're going to have to love you and leave you. If you haven't already, make sure to join the new tennis app, TNNS. The link is pinned in the live chat. Click on that. It's free to join. You will win $100. And I repeat, $100. It's free to enter for the men's and the women's. We're going to be in the league as well, battling out for it. We wish you the best of luck in that. Ben's loving it. Anything left to say, Ben, with that?
No, I'm just super excited. Just make sure that you do download the app. Make sure that you get your username set up. I know that there's been a little bit of problem with the Android version of it, but we'll speak to the creators, make sure that that gets ironed out before it all goes live tomorrow. So just make sure you just get in there. It's free. You can win some money. What more can you say, mate? I'm just excited now. We'll be back later on this evening, and we'll actually give you our selections. We've given you a little taste, but you don't know what's to come.
Yeah, and of course, like Ben did mention, it may be a little bit buggy to begin with. This is sort of the first trial of it. So just bear with us. It's completely free, so we can't make any promises, guys. But we're just trying our best to make sure that everything's running smoothly. We've got a good team sort of working on it, and we have a lot of faith in them. So you should do too. But yeah, we'll see you guys later on for some more podcasts on the Indian Wells. If you haven't already, hit the like button on the video, subscribe if you're new, and good luck winning the bracket.
Indeed. See you later on, guys.
See ya.